Audi's electric car range is like Alton Towers these days. It's all Qs. We've had the Q4 E-Tron, Q8 E-Tron, and now this, the brand new Q6 E-Tron, or more specifically, the sporty SQ6 to be precise. So, is this middle E-Tron just right? Could this be Audi's Goldilocks electric car? Or is it more like a bowl of lumpy, stodgy porridge? Let's find out. Damn, this is smooth. I'll come back to that. First of all, let's take a look at this thing. It's fair to say that Audi has played it safe with the design. If you asked AI to design a middle-sized Audi crossover, this is about where it would land. Even Audi calls it typical. Still, it is neat, which is pretty impressive given how many folds and creases it has. It's got very short overhangs, both front and rear, and this rear shoulder line is worth pointing out. Muscular. I was a little concerned this split lower section might look a little bit naff, but actually it's integrated really nicely. 19-inch wheels as standard, but they can go up to 21 if you get this particular model. And an Audi first, the rear tyres are wider than the front, and that is all to do with handling. More on that shortly. The front and rear are where the real action is though, quite literally. In another Audi first, a world first in fact, the Q6 e-tron gets an active digital light signature. At the front, you can choose the pattern of your daytime running LEDs while you're driving, plus the little dance they do when you turn the car on or off. You can customise the tail lights too, the same way. Pick your pattern. There's a safety element to these too. Each one has 3 OLED panels with 60 segments each, which can act as a safety warning for drivers behind. So, if the car sees that there's a hazard ahead or a traffic jam, the panels show warning triangles for the driver behind. Basically, the most informative panels show this side of Have I Got News For You. They've also got proximity sensors and they'll flash brightly if you get too close. Think of it like an active anti-tailgate device, if you like. Also, because they're active DRLs, the very small elements within the light flash dimly on and off, rather like a mobile light disco. All sounds very distracting, but the overall intensity of the light is perfectly consistent. To give you an idea of the size of the Q6, it's about this much longer than the Q5, and the wheelbase is about that much longer. Back here feels very comfortable, very nice. Now the front seat is set up for me. I'm 5'8", so as you can see, there is loads of knee room, plenty of headspace, good sized door bins, dual climate control and heated rear seats. I rather like that. And an armrest with 2 cup holders over the middle seat, which, oddly, Audi says is unusually comfortable. I'm not entirely sure I would say that. But anyway, I'm more interested in what's going on up front. Nice, curvy. Every Q6 gets this massive freestanding curved screen which houses the virtual cockpit and the Android-based infotainment system, another first for Audi. It's all a bit icon heavy, but I'm pleased to see that the climate controls are permanently fixed to the bottom of the screen, so no rooting around for them. And it has a very clever AI assistant. Let's give it a go. Hey Audi, turn on the seat massager.
Okay, I'll switch the seat massage on.
Very nice too. And it knows more than 800 commands apparently. It's also learning constantly. So, for example, if it were to get to know that you like the seat heater on a cold day, it'll just do it automatically for you. The quality is Audi exceptional, and the lighting is super impressive. This LED strip on the dashboard is active, so it'll blink with the indicators, for example. The lower level lighting makes the display screen look like it's floating at night, and it's all fully customizable. Nice! You'll probably have noticed this screen too. Sadly, it's top spec only. Again, it's got all sorts of functions. You can watch videos, play music, fiddle with the sat-nav. I mean, the battle for shotgun just got a whole heap more intense. It's configured so that the driver can't actually see it or get distracted by it. It's not actually a world first. Land Rover had the technology years ago, and I've certainly seen the screen on other cars, but it's still pretty cool. There's plenty of storage up front, good-sized door bins, a central storage unit, wireless charging, and 2 cup holders. So, techie, flashy, screeny. On paper, this is the most advanced Audi ever made, but all the lights and tech and flashiness doesn't mean a thing if it's boring to drive. And there's only one way to find that out. Two Q6 E-Trons are coming out at first. A standard one, which has twin electric motors, all-wheel drive and 388 horsepower, and this SQ6. Less standard, 490 horsepower or 517 if you hit the launch control button. Do that and you get to 62 miles per hour in 4.3 seconds. A rear-wheel drive version is coming out later in the year, which will be a bit cheaper. The first thing you notice is how quiet the car is. I mean, with electric cars these days, it's getting to the stage now where everything is as quiet as a Rolls Royce. But they've clearly done an awful lot of work here to make it feel very refined. It's lovely in here. And then there's the steering. It's much sharper than the average Audi SUV, and in fact, the whole chassis feels more agile than you'd expect. This is a brand new electric platform that was developed with Porsche, so it's used on the new Macan EV, and it shows. It's obviously not quite as sharp as a Macan, but that is deliberate. You can't have an Audi being more fun than a Porsche now, can we? But it's good. It's all-wheel drive, but the rear motor has more than twice the torque of the front motor, so it has a real feeling of balance and agility, unlike the cars being propelled from behind. And that is why Audi has made the rear tyres wider. The ride quality is decent, and the car has very good body control. Although the SQ6 has sport suspension and 21-inch wheels, which can make it a bit juddery over big bumps, the suspension is adaptive, so you can keep it in comfort mode for maximum smoothness. Other driving impressions? Pedals feel good. The throttle is responsive but not too hyperactive. The brakes are progressive too, so it's easy to drive the car smoothly. It all feels pretty effortless. One downside, if you're a speed demon, is that it's not massively fast compared to other EVs. It only does 0 to 62 in 4.3 seconds, so there are plenty of other faster cars in this category, but 4.3 is plenty quick enough. Importantly, the range is better than a lot of other EVs. WLTP testing says it will do 381 miles. Now, for reference, the Tesla Model Y only gets up to 331 miles. That is the equivalent of going from London to Dortmund in Germany, in theory, apart from the Channel Tunnel bit. It's good. And remember earlier when I said the Q6 shares a platform with the new Porsche Macan? Well, that helps with the charging too. Both versions of the Q6 will top up at a fairly rapid 270 kilowatts, which means you can take it from 10 to 80% in 21 minutes, or give yourself a 158-mile top-up in 10 minutes. Another practical example of this being easy to live with is space. 526 litres of it, and that increases to 1,529 with the 40-20-40 split rear bench folded down. For reference, this is bigger than the BMW iX3s, and it comes furnished very nicely with a heap of hooks, gadgets, a good amount of underfloor storage, and a rather nifty button. Thanks to air suspension, the rear can be lowered to help with loading. And as if that wasn't enough, you also get a 64-litre frunk under the bonnet. Audi is giving a free gift to those keen to get a Q6 e-tron early though. Until mid-2025, anyone who orders one in any spec will get the £3,000 sound and vision pack for nothing. It includes a Bang & Olufsen 22-speaker sound system, 4 of those in the headrests, plus uprated USB ports that will charge your phone faster, even more ambient lighting, and this mega augmented reality head-up display, which is the best one I have ever seen. Its field of view is 88 inches, it's pin sharp, and it shows loads of information without being distracting. I love how it shows you the sat-nav arrows. It's so clear that you're much less likely to miss your turning. Even without that though, the Q6 feels like a cutting-edge thing from the cabin, and it's well equipped as standard. 3 trim levels, Sport, S-Line and Edition 1, but Sport is more than enough. Keyless entry, heated leather seats front and rear, heated steering wheel, 3-zone climate, wireless phone charging, all manner of safety systems including adaptive cruise control and a top-down parking camera. And it might look a bit underwheeled on 19s, but it'll ride better that way. All this for a price though, a shade less than £69,000 for a base Q6 or 93 grand for the SQ6. It's not cheap. That said, a base Macan starts from around 95 grand, and that is just the going rate generally now. The BMW iX3 and Mercedes EQC both start at around £65,000. This feels more cutting edge than the Mercedes, probably the iX3 too. And if you want to save about 10 grand, wait a bit and get the rear-wheel drive version. This is an important car for Audi. What do you reckon? Is it as good as a Macan? Is it on par with a Tesla Model Y? Has Audi stepped up its electric game a notch? I think if you can swallow the price, this is a fantastic mid-sized family EV. But that's just me. Let me know what you think in the comments.